The last item that we always discuss when we're talking with our entrepreneurs and our various ventures that we consult to and the student deals and so forth for all the venture forums is always within the competition realm, and that deals with what we call the value proposition. Now the value proposition is that offer that you're making to your targeted audience. And I always just think of it figuratively as, here is this proposition. I've articulated it very well, laid it out very clearly, and I would like to get that right in front of the targeted audience that I know when I present that to them, it'll make complete sense, it'll be features and functionality that they're looking for, it'll be capabilities that are compatible with the existing technologies they're working with or the existing components that they have and so forth. It'll work with their current systems, it'll fit in well with whatever their business or their home use happens to be. It'll be very easy to understand, it'll be very intuitive, and as I articulate that, I would like to put that out in front of them and essentially offer that value proposition. Now the value proposition, in terms of your competitive advantage, speaks to two things. Number one, the matrix, and so that's going to be that competitive matrix that we looked at, all the different competitors across 5 or 6 key features as well as price, and how does your product stack up against that. And then ultimately, the Hall article, William Hall's strategic management article that says there's really only 2 successful strategies or competitive advantages you can have. Number one, you have the most differentiated position, or number 2, you happen to have the lowest price. Now when you think about that, value proposition will also get to another component of our business plan, and that's going to deal with the sales strategy. And we'll get to that in detail in a moment, but this will set it up very nicely. As you think about the value proposition, it's a very simple rubric. Value that you put out to people is perceived as benefits that they receive relative to a price that they're going to pay for those benefits. So obviously if people feel, wow, I'm getting lots and lots of really great benefits and the price seems relatively low or fairly, reasonable to me, then the value is perceived obviously as very, very high. And that's a great value proposition to make. Look at all these benefits for just this price. Now that doesn't mean it has to be the lowest price in the market, but it could also be higher than what else is out there, but the benefits are so overwhelming compared to what's out there in the market today that people would be willing to pay the higher price. Now think for a moment of how this works with regard to, let's say, the value proposition for a Sony Walkman at $115 back in 1981. Now you get to the point of the CD player, mid-80s, late 80s, then comes non-skip technology, in terms of how the CDs were progressing, then comes the mini disc and so forth, and ultimately you get out to a place where there's a whole market out there of CD players, mini disc players, and various kinds of MP3 players and so forth, and then comes the iPod, and the iPod brings this amazing realm of brand new benefits, searching through the library of songs and how to do the playlists and switching back and forth and so forth and organizing your music, and it does so with such great digital quality and so forth, and compared to the price, the value is really off the charts. So most companies, when they come into the marketplace, have to start thinking about what is our value proposition, and can we clearly articulate amazing benefits relative to a reasonable price. Because think of it this way, if you came into the market with very comparable benefits and very comparable price to everybody else that's out there, the value is kind of viewed as, well, there really isn't any. You're basically doing what everybody else does. Or even worst case, what if you came out and the perception was that your benefits are not really all that great compared to what's out there, and on top of it your price is actually a little bit higher? That would be a disaster. People would not recognize the value because the quality's not there and so forth. So the key is to get a value proposition you can put right in front of the targeted audience such that when you articulate that message to them, they will immediately recognize and connect with those benefits relative to the price, and they will recognize the value. They will see the value and they will say, that is something that I would like to purchase. So now that we've finished up the competition, let's go to stage 4, which is the business model.